been a really long time since I did a video for this, for YouTube, and there are a lot of updates, and I think it's important to keep anybody who takes the time to watch this kind of up to date on how things are going for me and what the latest challenges are and the strategies that I've come up with to face those challenges, which might be a little familiar to you. So I hope you'll watch to the end because I really want to describe my life now as it has changed in a year and a half, and also really get into detail about my offerings now and how I can really help affect change for many of you. So stay tuned. It would be really kind of you to like and subscribe this video. Please comment. I've been really fortunate that most of my comments have been, genuine ones and supportive ones. Ask me questions. If there's something you're wondering, I can at least try to answer it. I'll always try. And there's no such thing as too personal a question. There are inappropriate questions. I've learned the hard way. But as long as you're not outside the realm of appropriateness, I will answer. So like and comment and subscribe. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a regular post here and try to really be more on top of this schedule because I love YouTube. It's where I started and I'm obsessed with it still. I watch it all the time. So like and subscribe and watch to the end. All right, so now I am 47. What's up? And a number of things have changed. Most dramatically, my dad, my incredible 1 in a million dad, passed away beginning of last month. So it's been a blur, like very, very hard to remain true to my mission and to lean into work and try my best to live in his image. It's hard. It's hard when your last remaining parent dies and you're faced with true adulthood in a way that you never are until that remaining parent passes. And I also am still entrenched in a very difficult divorce process, which adds even more challenge. It adds a layer of complexity, I think, to my life in that I'm sort of more alone than ever. But at the same time, I choose to frame it as invigorating and a fresh start like I've never known, and a chance to really maximize on all those years of experience and lessons learned. And I regret none of it because it made me who I am today. And I realized through my fitness journey video that has reached far more people than I ever imagined would take the time to listen to me talk, that maybe there's some, kinetic energy here in this space to motivate people to feel their agency and their power and to really change their lives. I certainly did. I last checked in with you guys. I started a business. So I talked about it a little bit in the end of the last video, my 3-tiered system and the way that I really hope to impact the lives of people who are struggling in their challenges, whether they be physical or emotional. But I actually did it, and I'm really proud. It took a lot of organization and strength and focus, but I couldn't love it more. So now I'm the founder of The Remix, and I named it The Remix because, number one, I absolutely love music. It's actually kind of named after a song by Mr. Cheeks, if you know it, Lights, Camera, Action. But I love that idea of remixing your life. Like, it's not a completely different person. It's just a little fresh look at who you are inside. Remix is, remix your life. And for me, a lot of the work has been in-person training of people, mostly women, who entrust me to show them kind of my way, certainly not the only way, but the way that works for me. But I really love the idea of you're not changing who you are, you're just remixing it a little bit. And who doesn't love a remix? Like I do. Those are always my favorite tracks. And as soon as I fall in love with the song, I wait a little bit and then I research remixes because it's just cool. It's cool to hear something you love a different way. And I'm trying to say, why don't we do this a different way? Why don't we reimagine, your 40s and your 50s and beyond, or even your 30s, your 20s, whatever, but imagine really stepping into your own power and actualizing all those dreams you have for yourself, because you can do it. I've done it many times. And before I finish, I'll walk through kind of what the remix is from a client perspective and the different ways that I can help and support and teach and coach and listen, and all the things that really give back more to me than I think I could ever give to any of you or a client or a friend or anything. It's so gratifying to feel like my story is interesting or motivating or comforting more than anything to someone. That fuels me. And the best compliment I ever got since starting the company was a friend of mine who's a client told a mutual friend that she was loving coming here and that she felt safe. And like, that's really it. I want you to feel safe to try something new and be your best. You can do it. And I'll do it. One thing I've learned is like, never be fooled by thinking that this last hard thing is your only test, because life is funny like that. It will test you time and again. I talked about all of this in my last video, but my mom died when I was 22, and I was in a very serious domestic abuse scenario when I was 27. I got very involved in fitness as a result of that attack and wanting to feel really strong. I began modeling for it. Then I met my ex-husband, spent about 10 years having pregnancies and children. My third son was stillborn at 29 weeks, and at 20 weeks. And my youngest was born at 29 weeks and stayed in the NICU for a month and a half. It wasn't easy. Of course it wasn't. It never is. That chapter of my life, since my youngest was born, and he had a pretty medically complicated beginning to life with lots of surgeries and whatnot, he is perfect now, or perfectly imperfect, but in my eyes, he's perfect. And there are a lot of things I'd love to talk about that I can't really, because I feel it would expose my kids. But suffice it to say, finding the strength to leave a really toxic relationship that is not serving you and in fact is hurting you, and to really make that move. If you are anywhere that you can relate to where I was, it takes everything you have to make that decision, no matter how right it is. It took me 5 years. But again, I won't talk too much about that because I want to protect my kids. That's the most important thing to me. What I thought would be interesting, and I hope I'm right, is to do a little tour of the remix space and the place I created to be the home of my company, but also sort of the backdrop for content creation. And then I want to tell you a little bit about what's coming up for 2022 for the remix community. I'm really excited, and I don't know, I feel all this energy for it. I think because I'm super passionate about what I do, and it really is just my life. It's not a construct. I didn't go learn it anywhere. I'm basically just giving you a look into my daily life and offering my help to anybody who wants it to redefine what, your age in your mind, what that looks like. Because it can be anything. It's really up to you. So I'm going to give you a tour and show you around. Not everybody roots for you. That's okay. Like, I was lucky to be raised by two parents who never made me feel like I needed to fit in. They made me feel like I needed to be who I was. And if that meant I was a team of one, so be it. And I was raised to think that differences are beautiful, that we're not in competition with one another, but we're in competition with ourselves, with that image of our best self that we should strive towards each day, and really keep that in your mind's eye. And it kind of sucked. It hurt in the beginning to know that, for me, always like it's the women. When the women don't support me, then I feel really bummed out. But I've learned to understand a lot of that is founded in insecurities and things that have nothing to do with me. I love to help women work on those insecurities and just be brave and be kind and try. Just show up and try. And you might be amazed at what happens. I was when it happened for me, and it took a long time. There's no silver bullet. And when people ask me, oh, what do you do? Like, what's your secret? It's really a mindset more than anything that I do in a gym. And I love to use fitness as a vehicle for what I try to coach people on, but it's really so much more than the outside manifestations of what I think is the real work, which is on the inside. And that framework and that mindset and that positivity that you can choose. You can choose to see it that way. And you'll be amazed at what happens when you do. So I'm going to show you around. I'm going to talk about the company and the programs and 2022 for me. Like I said, I'm 47 now. Boys are, I always have to think, 9, 12, and 14. And they're doing great. And, divorce and separation is really hard on kids no matter what. But I want to share one thing that I say to people. I say kind of jokingly, but I really mean it. In case you don't know, there are 2 things that are cool to say to a woman when she says, I'm going through a divorce, or I'm going to get divorced, or I got divorced. Most people say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And that isn't the good thing to say. It, I'm sure, applies in a lot of cases, but I always say there are 2 things. Number 1, how are the children? Because if there are children involved, it's always hard on them. That was what made it take so long for me. And number 2, and a couple of really cool chicks said this, I hope it was a good thing. It's never a good thing to divide a family. And I absolutely believe in trying your very hardest to honor those commitments that you made to one another. But when it becomes obvious to you that that's just no longer the healthy choice for yourself, for your children, whatever the circumstance may be, it can be a really good thing. And for me, it took all the strength I had. And it remains difficult, but I remain totally laser focused on my choice. And I've never looked back, despite all the hard times. And I think I set that example for my kids, like being a foundation of calm strength, and really talking through feelings with them and being real about the struggles, but also saying, like, we got this, That's kind of my MO with all challenges, and this one's no different. Now, how has my body changed in like 18 months since I made that last video? I kind of don't think it's changed very much. I mean, my weight goes up and down a little bit. I don't sweat it. I rarely weigh myself. With my dad's illness this summer and his passing, I ate a lot of candy, a lot. So gross, had a root canal, learned my lesson sort of. And I think just be good to yourself. And I always say to clients and friends, it's about a pendulum, like how far and how wildly are you going to let the pendulum swing? Like if it just kind of swings here and you find your stasis and kind of norm in the middle most of the time, that's fine. That's life, right? It's never going to be perfect all the time. But if you let it swing wildly, and I always realize I'm at risk for that when something really bad happens, then you kind of you go off the rails a little bit. So it hasn't happened. I'm proud. Still 5'5", maybe a little bit taller. Haven't measured myself since God knows when. Right now I weigh about 131 pounds, but I am 16.5 body percent. Last time I did a DEXA scan, which I love, and I'll talk about more later. I really think that's the only thing that matters, is tracking your body composition. I say to people all the time, I'm the smallest I can be at this weight, because I can't really be lower body fat and still be healthy and live a life that I can tolerate. But it's mostly muscle, and that feeds me all the time, right? Like I can eat in a relaxed way because my body's really efficient. And that's what I try to coach people on, is like, pick up the heavy weights, girls, don't be afraid, because you create a really efficient machine doing it. I have spent most of my time working on my Instagram account. That's where I post almost every day a story, and then every so often a proper post in my feed. My Instagram is at get.remixed, and my website is going to be tagged below, and you can find more about me there. And then, of course, my blog that I mentioned in my last video. I don't really write there. Again, I feel like what I would write, I only write pure honesty, and I can't do that really without saying things that might hurt my kids. So I can't do it yet. One day. And one day I really hope to write a book. That's I think my true calling is to write this all down. And maybe it helps someone, just like one person. That would make it all worth it. Okay, let's go to the remix. This is how I arrive every day. The clients come through a different room, and this is the main studio here. So there's me. And these living walls are like every last thing. And this is the room where I do most of the big classes. I wish you could smell it because I have this very unusual and special fragrance that I keep either in candles burning or in like little diffusers because it's so amazing. So part of my idea with the remix is that it should feel like you're in the VIP club or you're in like the nicest hotel gym you ever saw, and that you're lucky to be part of it. That's the vibe. So I'm going to walk you through all the equipment. Here is a belt squat or pit squat machine by Rogue. Absolutely love this piece of equipment because you can load tons of weight for squats without compromising your spine or your shoulders or your back or your neck. Here we have the Booty Builder. Love it. It has various names. My clients have given it the roller coaster from hell, the home birthing machine, you name it, but they hate it so much. So that's a hip thrust machine. Here we've got a ton of plates. This is my latest edition, the Glute Builder, which is awesome because all these little pegs mean that you can set up bands in a million different ways and do all kinds of single-sided leg movements along with banded deadlifts and banded hip thrusts just to add that extra spice. Like I said, this is the main floor, and we have the second living wall there, some dumbbells, chains for when I'm feeling really medieval and exotic. Here's where clients kind of chill when they come in. This is the only branding in the whole gym, is that barbell that says the remix. Got our wall balls up here and stall bars here that we use in various ways for TRX, but also for abs and whatnot. This is the original remix room, and this is where it all began. So most clients come in here, they walk down those stairs, and then they come in and they see this space, which is, I think, really beautiful and special. Got all the kettlebells there. This is where I do most privates and small groups, like 2 women or 3, or any, man obviously too, but smaller groups in here. I have some of my merchandise over here. That fireplace works, so it's so nice when it's cold like this. That's Lil Weezy's bed because I have 3 dogs and a cat, and on any given day, at least one of them is roaming around down here. Here we have some more weighted balls and dumbbells, and then this was the first thing I ever bought for this gym, which is a huge Smith machine with 2 cable stacks. So Smith machine is one of my go-tos. It's super safe, it's very versatile, we can do a million things on here, and we do. And then we got some pull-up set up there, and then the original living wall, which I see a ghost. I don't know what you guys see, but I see a ghost. Really cool deep storage closet here. Tons of equipment. Can fit in here and does. But it's a really cool space. Then we can walk over here and you can see the pretty bathroom, which has a steam shower and all your needs, like little hair bands and bobby pins and dry shampoo and like really nice products, because if you can take a gym shower, you want the good stuff, right? More storage down here. And then over here we have what's kind of a cardio room. I have all my cardio equipment in here. But I also have this Westside Barbell Reverse Hyper and this Rogue GHD and this Hoist 45 degree, and then a bunch of boxes and a punching bag way back there. You can probably see it. Yeah, so they come in here and they warm up, and then for the really motivated or the girls who have enough time, which is pretty rare, we have the Remix sauna, and it's like big. You can fit a bunch of people in there and chill out, and there's so much evidence that that really helps recovery and gains. So this is where it all happens. And I'm going to do a little clip on the music, because the music was at least half the equation to me. I have a ridiculous sound system here, and I DJ as if I'm like in Ibiza, because I love music more than anything, and it's so fun to have the right song for that tough workout. That's what gets me through. So I wanted to make sure my clients could hear music like they were at a concert or a nightclub and tap into that kind of primal energy to get through all the hard work we do. And then this is where I walk upstairs to my house. Hope you love it. Okay, my SD card ran out, so now I'm shooting the music. Ready?